Do you have an interior door handle that looks kind of like this, and you'd like to replace it with something that looks a little bit more like this? Or maybe you just want to know how to get this trim piece off so that you can remove your door panel. Either way, watch this video. I'll walk you through removing and ultimately replacing this part. And for those of you that just wanted to pull it off so you can get your door off, I'll show you that as well. Here we go. If you're like me and like a lot of other people that I've talked to online, you've probably stared at this piece for quite a while trying to figure out how to get it off of there. It looks like there's a cover inside that needs to come out, but there's no real obvious area where you're supposed to pry that out. Turns out it's just right here on the side. Just get a really thin flathead screwdriver, put it in there. It's a very flexible piece of plastic insert that's in there. And so you just put it in there, gently pop that out, and you'll see there's one screw right behind the door handle itself. You just back that off, and then this whole piece just comes right out of there. Once you've got that removed and out of the way, then just remove all the trim screws around the outer perimeter of the door panel. And the door panel itself will just kind of pop right off of there. Then as you can see here, the door latch itself is held on by 4 Phillips head screws. And then there is just this little arm that has a hook on it that connects into the door latch itself, and that operates the mechanism to release the door from the door frame. So if you're just removing it to do some routine maintenance, that's really all there is to it. If you want to replace this part because either the trim piece and or the handle itself is kind of beat up from over the years, it's a pretty simple process to remove it and then put the new one back on, just a few screws. The question is, where do you get this handle from? Well, turns out, surprisingly, this door handle is actually the door handle from a late 60s, early 70s Volkswagen Beetle. So you can actually order this part online. I found a website of a company out in California that specializes in import cars, and I ordered the part from there. And because it's a automotive part, it's a whole lot cheaper than most airplane parts are if you got them direct from the airplane manufacturer. But this is the actual part that the manufacturer uses. So you can get it direct from the auto parts supplier and save yourself a lot of time. So I've got the link down here in the video description below, so you can go and check that out. The one that I replaced it with, as you can see here, is black instead of the chrome. They do have the chrome still available, so it's just a personal preference. I went with black just because of the interior colors that I was changing my airplane to. And then if you want to stick around for the rest of the video, I'm just putting my new door panel on and kind of lining all that stuff up to make sure I get all the holes lined up and making some cutouts on that panel. And then you can see the final product of it. But if you just wanted to know how to get the trim piece off, it's pretty straightforward, as you can see. And then there's the brand new cover piece. I think that was about, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks. Something like that. Backwards. That's why. There we go. So that goes there. And there's one screw here in the middle that holds that in place. But that'll go on the outside. So like I said, there's not a lot of room to cover, so I'll make the hole really small and then test fit and adjust it from there. So that is right in the middle of the cutout, so that's good. door handles. Let's see if these holes line up too. And they do. So good deal. All my holes line up. That lines up. That all looks good. So if it's not obvious what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to do is line up the holes that are already pre-cut in the back side of the wall panel. There's holes that are pre-cut for where the armrest mounts onto the outside there. And then there's also a hole pre-cut in the plastic where the door handle mechanism actually comes through. So I'm trying to make sure that what I see for the bolt holes and what I see for that handle are lined up well. And then once I feel pretty comfortable with that, then I'll go ahead and I'll make the holes for the armrest, since those are kind of small holes, and I'll put those bolts back through those holes. That'll help me kind of line up that wall panel really well for where I'm going to cut out for that door handle. And then what I'll do is I'll start with a really small hole for the door handle, and then I'll just slowly kind of make that hole a little bit bigger so that I don't end up with an oversized hole, because again, there's only a little bit of wiggle room really around that that faceplate that's going to go on the outside of it. So I'll just slowly expand that hole till I get it where I want it, and then I'll be done. All right, those are going to screw right in there. That guy is right there. So first I'm just going to make it small, big enough just to get the handle out. I'll mark it off inside. Just taking a knife, cutting it out, little hole. So I will note, there's a little cover that pops inside here after the fact. This did not come with this, just a little piece of plastic. So save your old one if you end up changing this out, because this was the original one. You can see it's plastic, it was painted chrome, but that wore off, this end was broken and all that, so that's why I'm replacing it. But yeah, so save this little insert. It's a little cover plate. It goes in there after you put the screw in. It just snaps in place. So that means I can cut out this little piece of leather that's in my way, because this will cover that. And that's what I was checking before I do. If you like the video, if you like the information, please give us a thumbs up on the channel. Consider subscribing so you can see all the future content. We'll see you in the next video.